Hi guys, it's Paul from Unsung Angler, and today we're going to do another episode of Utility Flies. Today we're going to tie one of the patterns I've probably caught more fish on than any pattern there is. It's an elk hair caddis. Great pattern, super easy to tie. I like to fish this summertime when you have caddis just popping everywhere. Fish this near shorelines, brush that hangs over, things like that. Just pick a riffly stretch, pocket water, fish up through there. It's also a great fly to do a dropper rig off of because it floats so well. So let's go ahead and get started. So for this pattern, we're going to start off with a just standard dry fly hook. I'm using a Daiichi 1188 for this, but you can use a Mustad 94840, TMC 100, any other hook. We're going to tie this in an olive body. You can use olive, tan, and we are going to use, even though the pattern is called elk hair caddis, we are just going to use a piece of Comparadun hair. One advice when you're tying elk hair caddis is when you're going to trim your hair, get multiple hair stackers. You know, these are some real cheap ones I found at a fly shop somewhere. You know, I picked two of them up just to have when I'm, really want to bang flies out. This is kind of a fancy machine brass one I got somewhere. This one, I forget who makes this one, but I know I have it in this size, and then I got a giant one for when I do bigger spun body deer hair flies. If I was going to sit down and crank out a whole bunch of caddis, which when I usually try to tie, I don't just sit down, tie one bug, walk away, kind of like what I'm doing for these videos. I'll sit down and be like, all right, I need caddis, I'm going to tie 2 dozen today, I'm going to tie 3 dozen, whatever. So I'll go through and work all my hair first. Cut it, clean it, prep it, drop it in the stacker. Cut it, clean it, prep it, drop it in the stacker, so on. And then I'll get all my hair done. Then I'll start going fly to fly. And this really helps speed the process up. So when I'm going to cut the hair off that I'm going to use for this fly, I like to look at the gap size of the hook. Right now we have a 14 in there. And I will trim some off. You just want to pull any under hair out of this fly. You can use a comb and just comb that out too, but you want to get all of that under hair out. So I want my clump of hair to be a little bit bigger than the gap of that hook. So once I get all my hair, under hair removed, put it in my stacker. Now we have our hairs ready to go. Now we'll start tying. Put a base of thread on our hook. Wrap to the bend. We are going to use Umpqua Superfine Green Caddis Dubbing. You can tie this in green, tie it in tan. I truly think it's the silhouette of the wing that makes the difference. So on a lot of traditional elk hair caddis patterns, they'll have a palmered hackle body on top of the dubbing. I've tied them like that. I've fished them like that. They float very, very, very high in the water. A little higher than I like. These are going to sit a little more flush in the water, and the wing that we're going to tie in with the deer hair is what's going to float the fly. And I think that laying flush in the water just gives it a little better look when you're imitating caddis. So gonna dub our body, go all the way up right behind the eye, and we're gonna give ourselves a little bit of room to work, so we don't want to crowd our eye after we tie our deer hair in. So when you remove your deer hair from your stacker, so the tips are pointing down, we're gonna want to point toward the back end of the hook, so we're gonna hold our stacker on its side. Pull them out, and there's all our nice, even deer hair. We'll pinch that in our left hand, and be very careful, transfer it to our right hand. And then this is where we're going to size up where on the hook we want this hair to line up. We want it to just barely stick out past the bend of the hook. So once we get that lined up where we want it, right about there, we'll pinch in our left hand. And what I'll do is put 1 wrap loose, 2 wraps, and then I'll pull upward on my thread. Throw another wrap on, pull down, another wrap, another wrap, another wrap. All the time holding my hair in the back. So now before I tie a head off, I will pick all of that hair up in the front and put a few wraps in front of my hair. I think this helps hold it up on top of the hook. Now this can be kind of tough once we get to this point, getting our whip finish out and whip finishing this fly, because you need to hold the thread, hold the whip finish, and hold all your butt ends of your deer hair back at the same time. So we'll get our whip finish, get it all set up, and we'll wrap. We'll pull our hair back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Secure that. Second whip finish. Well, we're holding everything back. 1, 2, 3 on that one. Tie that off. So next we still need to trim all this off. So we'll pinch what we can so we don't make too much of a mess and just cut it right down. So as you can see, we have some butt ends sticking up. We're going to want to try to get in there and trim and clean all that up. So if you drop down with your scissors and slide them down, you can usually get those. Clean it up pretty good. So I like to make sure that all my hair is on the upside. You can come underneath. If you have any scragglers that are a little too far on the bottom, just trim them out. Doesn't need to be perfect. Now as you can see looking at this fly, it's going to lay really low in the water. So there you have it. Elk hair caddis, 2 materials. My kind of fly. Caught a lot of fish on this pattern. So if you're enjoying the utility fly series, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, please click the subscribe button. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.